Hello everybody, this is CAIROINDIANA here, and today, I wanted to do a review on the T29. Now, I want you to, excuse me for, completely getting rid of the clip volume, but that's so that doesn't interrupt my, commentary. But if in the future you want me to change this, I will gladly change it. But for now, let's focus on the fact that we are reviewing the T29. Now, the T29 has been with me for quite a while, and as of right now, it's one of my most prized tanks, especially due to the final upgrade for getting a 10.5cm gun or a 105mm gun, which technically has the power of the stock M103 gun, which is pretty powerful. However, it has a 11-second reload, but we're getting off topic. Likewise, the T29's been with me for quite a while. However, I failed to understand how to use it, and thus I sold it. But until just recently, I've stopped researching for the American autoloader line, so I got this thing back, and it is just the best tank in my arsenal. I mean, if you're able to get upgrades for this thing, it will be able to dish out damage. On top of that, it is pretty much the strongest turret of its tier, or of any tank for that matter. Sorry. But likewise, T29 is a medium tank, is a heavy tank at tier 7, and could be unlocked for somewhere around 55,000 XP to 1,300,000 silver. That's right. 55,000 XP to, unlock it. Then to buy it, you have to accumulate 1,300,000 to buy it, and then finally get in one of your garage slots. Now, when you get this thing, I'm going to warn you, you're not going to be very happy with its upgrades. But likewise, every tank has a stock gun. However, this tank's stock gun does not make it ideal for tier 7 at all. However, if you make the right decisions, you could easily get the 90mm gun than the 105. But likewise, the stock gun is pretty much the Easy 8's and the Jumbo's biggest armament, the 76mm gun. Now, this thing is, well, it's powerful at its tier if you own a Jumbo or an Easy 8. That thing is powerful, but on the T29, it is considerably unreliable. I mean, by most tiering standards. So, once you get that gun, I advise you would immediately, and I repeat, immediately get a 90mm gun. If you get the 90mm gun, trust me, it'll be worth your while. However, there are two upgrades for the 90mm gun. The first and the hardest upgrade to get is the one with the 90mm gun and with the upgraded turret. Now, this gun could do considerably, well, it has considerably more penetration than the 76, and it could do up to 200 damage, meaning this thing is ideal for facing something at its tier. So in other words, get the 90mm upgrade as well. But that upgrade, which is the hardest to obtain, also has the turret upgrade, the track upgrade, and the engine upgrade. However, if you want to go my route and you want to make it easier to get yourself a more powerful armament, go for the much easier or cheaper or experience cheaper upgrade. Well, and it is also cheaper in terms of silver as well, but it is more cheaper in terms of XP wise. But if you want to go that way and get yourself a 90mm armament faster, then I recommend you go to it. But if you want a better turret and a better engine power and better tracks overall, then I recommend you go for the more expensive and more XP grinding way of it. Though I don't recommend it. Well, actually, I sort of do now, considering that I went for it first and not the first upgrade, the more expensive upgrade. Because really, go for the first upgrade first. It'll be worth your while. Likewise, turret upgrade, performance enhancing upgrade. Recommend you go for that first. Don't go my route. Now, then you've got the third upgrade. However, well, technically the second upgrade's the first package, the more expensive package than the third. So technically, the fourth package. Sorry, had a little bit of troubles there. But likewise, the fourth package is the package that comes with the 105. And I advise, and I will not say this, and I will repeat this, but you should be smart enough to go after the fourth package. Because if you go after the fifth package, that tells me one thing: you're an idiot. And likewise, do not go after the fifth package. The fifth package may have the performance upgrade, but it has the stock cannon. So I advise, unless you're a little more cheaper, then go for the fifth package. But other than that, do not get the fifth package. Stock gun with engine upgrades. Because the fourth package is more worth it. Better armament with better penetration and better damage, and likewise engine performance. So likewise, go after the fourth package, not the fifth. However, if you go for the first and the fourth package, well, sorry. Well, technically the 105 upgrade is the third package. So if you go after the first and the third package, then it will automatically make the second and the fourth package free for both XP and silver wise. So look out for that, just in case you get a little paranoid or curious about that. But likewise, the 105 package. It is the best package you could get for the T29, and trust me, it will be worth your flippin' while. It gives a considerable engine upgrade. On top of that, it gives you a very, very powerful 105mm gun. And when I mean powerful, I mean absolutely powerful. This thing, sure, it has a 11-second reload, but trust me, this thing is worth your while. Very powerful, very penetrating, and it might not come with many rounds, but at least it has the damage and the penetration power to compensate for it. However, likewise, the fourth package, don't get it. I'm not going to review it because it just has the stock gun. Now, what are the characteristics on the T29 that make it special, especially for the use, well, for my use of it? What makes this thing special is its distinct turret. Sure, besides it looking like a clown shoe, as described by the Mutant 6, the turret is pretty much one of the toughest, if not one of the toughest, or if not the toughest turret in the game. Because unfortunately I don't know that yet. But it is one of the toughest turrets in the game. 279 millimeters. Now that's something that you could find a piece of cover to cover your hull with, and then the turret could just be sticking out. That is ideal. However, that does have one disadvantage. At the back of the shoe turret on the T29, it has a hatch that is vulnerable. However, this isn't easy to hit, so it's very unlikely to hit it. And the other reason what makes this thing special is also because of its hull armor. Because of the hull armor's lack of armor, only 102 millimeters at the hull, and probably less armor at the downward slope, it forces you to literally find a piece of cover that will hide your hull. And I'm not kidding. This thing will actually force you to hide your hull. However, there's another technique that can also help you hide your hull. This technique is also called side scraping. Now, side scraping is the technique of sloping your side armor so that way there's more armor in front of that slope. Like, let's say, for example, the T34. It was designed for a balance of mobility, armor, and gun armament. However, its sloped armor was only 45. It made it look like 70 or 65 armor because there was more armor in that density. Well, there was more armor in that area at which it was sloped at. But that's besides the point of this video. Because I have found side scraping to be an effective tactic with this vehicle, and this thing has 76 millimeters of side armor. However, the Churchill might prove to be a more, valid tactic for side scraping. I have used this thing for side scraping before, like in the first clip that I have shown in this video. However, you do need to be careful at which you slope it. Though you do have two options. The first option is traditional side scraping. That is putting the front of your tank against a wall, putting a little bit of your side armor outside to draw your enemy to your side hull. And when they fire off a shot, you have an opportunity to go out and fire out a free shot. Or you could use option 2, where you use the back of your tank and use it for side scraping. That's right, folks. Use the back of your tank. And while in the front of your tank along with your turret is sticking out, meaning you have a better opportunity to fire at your enemy. And since the T29 has a well-protected turret, this goes well with the T29. However, likewise, you need to be careful when doing this, because some enemies can break through that slope. And it's only 76 millimeters, so likewise, Churchill's more valid for side scraping, even though it's tier 6. But likewise, it is still a valid tactic for the T29. But however, I recommend use the side scraping wisely for the T29 because the traverse rate on this tank is horribly slow. And you would expect that for a heavy tank because it's literally got 200 millimeters of armor at the turret, making it very, very heavy. So expect that, just, expect that. So don't be mad if your tank's not doing it if your T29 is not doing what you want it to do. Expect that. However, but likewise, I wanted to keep another reminder. Well, yes, I wanted to keep that reminder. Make sure that you hide your weaker hull armor. That is importantly vital. If you don't hide that, then you're going to be put to death. Because the turret armor is the brawn of your tank. Don't let your hull armor get in a vulnerable position. Hide your hull armor by side scraping, or use an object that is smaller than your tank. Well, it is at least smaller than your turret. Or, yes, smaller than your turret, but enough to hide your hull. So that way your vulnerable hull won't be exposed. Like, let's say, for example, a small rock, or maybe just some sort of little building or something like that, or maybe a little obstacle, or maybe a hill that, or maybe on a hill where you could find a level position, or you could hide yourself behind a tank carcass. But likewise, we don't have much time left on this video, so let's get to the review. Overall, this tank is worth getting. It is a very fun tank to play with. Very good turret armor. You know, it provides opportunities to learn about side scraping and, you know, armor. It's pretty much a beginner's guide on steroids to how armor works. And it is worth getting to the T32 because the T32 has, you know, greater armor than this. Just has 20 more millimeters of armor plating to the turret. But the hull armor on the T32 is greater. So I really do recommend you get this thing. It's a joy to play with. Recommend you get it. And likewise, it's a beginner's guide to it's a beginner's guide to armor on steroids. But without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, do what you wish. And, you know, that's all, folks. Woohoo!